Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Tom. I'm a full-time eBay reseller and a stay-at-home dad for my 6 kids. And I haven't done a proper what sold video in a little while. I just have been letting myself get super bogged down with stuff, both life stuff and work stuff. And so I'm trying to get back in the groove. I've got a whole bunch of things that I've got to ship for tomorrow, and we'll go over those real quick. Thanks for joining us. Hey, I wanted to say thank you to Jared, who picked up this Roman Reigns shirt, this little Caesars hat, and this Big Dog sweatshirt, all going international, so I could not combine shipping. But if you want to see what I've got in my store, if you see me pick something up at Goodwill, I often, if I'm picking up 20 items at Goodwill, I'll have them listed before you see the video. It's most of the time. So if you see something that you like, go to the description. You'll find my link for Whatnot, eBay, Mercari, and my other channel. And so click on any of those links, but you can buy stuff from my store. I greatly appreciate it. It's not necessary, but Jared found a handful of things that he wanted, and we were able to get them shipped to Canada, and I greatly appreciate that. So I thought I'd put in a little plug for my store. You can buy stuff that you see. Other people bought some stuff. I got a couple of things to pick real quick, and then we'll get into what sold. This here DVD VCR combo that I picked up yesterday for $7 did end up working, and so I listed it for $77.50 free shipping. No remote, no blank VHS tapes or AV cables necessary. $77. It'll cost me probably $25 to ship, but I paid $7 for it, so I'll put $40 easy into my pocket with my $7 investment. So I like doing those. The problem, especially with picking them up at thrift stores, but I had a hunch because they had a bunch that all had this similar strange markings on them. I had a hunch that they were probably coming out of like a nursing home or a preschool or something. And so I thought they were probably just taken out as obsolete tech instead of broken. But a lot of times people will, it's kind of hard, especially around here, to figure out what you're supposed to do with broken electronics. So people will just donate them to Goodwill, and then you'll end up buying them, unless you're careful. I'm careful most of the time. I don't often pick up those things at Goodwill, but I had a hunch they were cheap. Goodwill does have a return policy. If you get something that doesn't work, that has a cord, and you keep the receipt and the Goodwill sticker price tag on it, you can return within 10 days at our Goodwills. So it's not a huge gamble, but I often don't return things. I'm probably not going to return stuff, but $7 on the gamble, and it would sell for $25 even if it didn't work. I have a little bit of an affinity for selling this particular brand of golf stuff, Masters. Yuck. Masters Augusta. This is just a coin, essentially. It's a ball marker. So if you have to pick your ball up off the green, you put this where it was. It is not in great shape. It was part of the store buyout that I just did recently. And so it I paid virtually nothing for it. It sold for $9.99 free shipping. So it sold for virtually nothing. How about $9 free shipping? But could this possibly be any easier to deal with? So I don't mind making a little bit of money when it's a little bit of effort. Most plush are not worth dealing with, especially at the $2 that my Goodwill charges per piece. But this Animal Crossings figure with new with the tags is pretty cool. And so a lot of times these new with tag Nintendo ones, they would mark up. This one was $2. So I did pick it up. I've had it for a handful of weeks. And I mean, it sold for $13.99 free shipping. Now, it's going to be super easy to deal with, but at $2, $14, it's only just barely worth messing with. But I like having that kind of stuff in the store. It gets good traffic. It's a fun thing for people to find and buy, and it's easy. It's not like it's going to get damaged ever. So those are the 3 things that sold today. On Sunday, I only had 3 sales. So I wouldn't try to sell kids VHS individually, but the Veggie Tales are Bible-based stories with these anthropomorphic vegetables in them, and they were really popular in the late 90s. They're still pretty popular. Netflix bought them out and washed it down a lot, and it's just not as good. It's not as funny. But Levi found 14 of these for 50 cents, for a quarter a piece, 50 cents a piece. I think they were a quarter a piece for 14 of them. And they sold for $24 free shipping. Not like huge money, but it's a super fun thing, an easy thing to list and sell. And when you have big quantities, it makes life easy for, you know, somebody who's looking for them. You can price them super cheap. This thing, I'm not even totally sure what it is. It has a stylus, like a record player, and it spins. Something spins here, and it has 2 buttons on the front. Oh yeah, it has perfectly good batteries in it, evidently. It reads it comes to life books, so I have a feeling that it reads the book to you. Anyway, it's sold untested. I bought it on Whatnot for $3, and it sold for $26 free shipping. This I got on Whatnot real early, but I remember getting it super cheap. I don't know what I paid for it. It's a stadium giveaway. Phoenix Coyotes, I suspect. Yeah. Hockey team stadium giveaway jersey. Sold for $12 plus shipping. Angry Boys. This one I think is known as Saturn because of that. It's a little plush. I've never had one work. This one does work. It should have a button in it that works and makes noise. This guy does not work, and his crown's busted. But Angry Birds plushes can do reasonably well. They're not nearly what they were 4 or 5 years ago, but you can find them super cheap. Like these sold for $12.99 free shipping. But I paid $3 for a bag of 4, so at the end of the day, I'll have them sold for like $26 free shipping for the 4, and I'll be, I'll make $10 on my $3 investment. This I picked up for $3 the other day, and it is a really, really nice condition with the holder, Game Boy case, and so your Game Boy sits right here. And I included the Game Boy Color manual because it's not worth selling by itself, and the Pac-Man manual that came in it because they're not worth selling by themselves. But those were in here, and there was also a Pokemon Puzzle Challenge manual in here, and I listed it separately for $25 or something, and these sold right away, and that will sell. That's the lowest price on eBay, so it will sell for somebody eventually. $17 free shipping. It's a tablecloth that came with the store buyout. I wouldn't be buying a Food Network tablecloth, even new in package, but it did sell for $17 free shipping. These 4 books, kind of obscure things: Dungeon Desolation, Dungeon Madness, Dungeon Calamity, and Dungeon Born. They feel like they're probably a small run little publisher, Mountaindale. I don't think I could make it show up, but they're like very low resolution on the prints on these. Very cool art, but they were 50 cents a piece at the Helping Hands, and it was a set, and it was all 4 of them. So I picked them up and then comped them. So I'm $2 into these, and it took them a couple months to sell. They sold for $20 plus shipping. So I paid 50 cents. Somebody paid me $5 a piece for them plus shipping. So, I 10x'd my money. These Star Wars figures at Goodwill the other day. Not Goodwill, Target the other day. 3 picked them all up for like $8 a piece, and then sold them for 21, and that wouldn't have been a great deal, except it's retail arbitrage. It's a whole nother ball game, and I don't normally get into it, but the sell-through rate was such that these all three sold in the same day, the day after I listed them. This GPS, and we already talked about these the other day while I was in Goodwill, but this GPS, the handheld units, the thing you mount inside your car, generally not worth much. I mean, look them up if you find them super cheap. But the handheld units, again, look them up. But I paid $11 for this, and it sold for $60 same day as it was listed or next day. Cyber Cop sold for not very many dollars, $21. Include the manual. Not a hugely desirable game, but it did sell for $21 in like 3 weeks. And in case you didn't know, this is one of the items. This was the item that got me into being a flipper. I bought a couple of things and sold them, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool that I was able to find this guitar for cheap and make money on it. And then a friend's like, dude, have you heard of these things? They're crazy. People, you can buy them all day at garage sales and thrift stores for $3 or $4, and people will give you $40 online for them. And I'm like, no way. So I started looking at comps, and I'm like, wow, he's right. People do pay. And at that time, which would have been like 2018, people were paying $50 and $60 a piece for them. So you're making $40. The 1500 watt units, which look like this, they may or may not have a power supply, and then it has that flat bottom, and people use them to roast their own coffee beans from green beans at home. Not green beans, from green coffee beans. This will roast them for you, and you can do your own specialty coffees if you're really that into it. But they still sell phenomenally well. This one I paid like $6 for. I don't remember. It wasn't very much. Maybe it was only $4. And it sold for $40, free shipping, which is a little bit light because it's going to be a little bit of a pain in the butt to ship. But I listed it for $40, and it sold the next day. And so I'll put it into a box, and it'll probably cost me $10 to ship, and it cost me $5, and $40 probably be $8. So 22, 40. I'll probably make 16, 17 bucks. Pretty easy on this thing. But West Bend Poppery, not the Poppery 2, which is a smaller unit. And it helps if it has this part. This piece, the butter melter, doesn't really matter very much at all. It will sell without this too, especially to the people who are trying to melt or trying to roast their own coffee beans. And we already talked about this thing selling, but I wanted to go over it one more time because it's kind of my first love, if you will. But that's everything that sold. I'm going to get it all shipped, and it's Sunday night, so hopefully I get some more sales for Monday morning, and we can do those later. Thanks for liking, watching, commenting, subscribing, following, clicking the bell, looking at the links down below to see my eBay, Mercari, whatnot, and my other channel. We'll see you on the next one, guys. Thanks.